As a scientist, I can tell you that Sundays are only 24 hours long. But with NFL Sunday Ticket and YouTube TV, you get every game every Sunday all in one place. That's upwards of 30 hours of NFL in one day. How can there be 30 hours in 24 hours, you ask? I have a theory. Magic. New users get NFL Sunday Ticket for 8 payments of $34.50 per month. Sign up at NFLSundayTicket.com. Local and national games on YouTube TV. NFL Sunday Ticket for out-of-market games excludes digital-only games and commercial use. Terms and embargoes apply. Availability varies.
This episode is brought to you by LinkedIn. Healthcare professionals can lead their careers with LinkedIn. Discover jobs by specialty, preferred shifts, and even desired salary. From mental health therapists to radiology technicians, it's now faster and easier for healthcare professionals to find the right fit. Learn more at linkedin.com/healthcare. Side effects may include faster job placement, improved work-life balance, and increased career satisfaction.
They got Willa. They got my daughter. I need to find her.
From acclaimed director Paul Thomas Anderson.
You can save that girl.
Today, experience what is being called the best movie of the year.
This is the end of the line. Not for you.
Leonardo DiCaprio, Sean Penn, Benicio del Toro, Tiana Taylor, Chase Infinity.
Let's go! Here I come.
One battle after another. Now playing only in theaters. Experience it in IMAX. Rated R. Under 17, not admitted without parent.
You can't hide.
Welcome to the Dragon's Lair in association with the Riverside Sports Bar in Newport, an American-style bar with a proper Welsh feel.
Hello and welcome to the Dragon's Lair podcast in association with Riverside Sports Bar, the home of live sport and great food in Newport. I'm Jamie and join me is Gavin Thomas and Gareth Clare. Hello gentlemen, how are we?
Very well, very well.
All good, yeah. Happy to be on.
Still no victory pod, Gareth?
No. Wasn't the one maybe to get it, but next week, confident we will.
Gavin, did you did you listen to me and Gareth's chat with Rob Hunt?
I did. I thought it was very impressive, but I was a bit disappointed that it took at least 2/3 of the pod before Rob Hunt talked about Brian. You know,
Yes.
It was a bit late in the pod. No, what a nice bloke. I'm really sorry I couldn't do it, but sadly, you know, the people who pay me needed my time at the same time. But no, I thought he came across really well, really open. Got different vibe there coming from him, and you know, it's very good. I thought. Well done, chaps.
Yeah, thank you very much. What did you think about his admission, Adele, for his karaoke song, Set Fire to the Rain?
Do you know what? I'd like to hear a man singing Set Fire to the Rain in a really thick South African accent.
I would as well.
I'd be up for that.
Yeah, we need to get Rob down the Windsor Castle in Newport City Centre. They have karaoke every Saturday. Let's get him down there and let's hear him. Let's hear him about karaoke.
What's your karaoke song then, Jamie?
Do you know where it used to be?
What's that?
It used to be, believe it or not, rock DJ, Robbie Williams.
Oh, nice.
I used to love singing that, and it was quite easy to sing, you know. But I'm a terrible singer.
I'd murder cigarettes and alcohol, Oasis. Absolutely murder that.
Do you have to do the sunshine?
Yeah. A few beers, get the hands behind the back, leaning forward, look the part, but sound awful.
Yeah. I sung Don't Look Back at Anger once on karaoke, and do you know what? It's hard to sing. It was harder to sing than I realised.
I did Go With the Flow by Queens of the Stone Age at my mate's wedding.
Oh,
that's quite nippy a song, which I favour Johnny Cash generally.
Right, okay. Let's get straight into it then. So, Friday night, Dragons, they had a tough start to their URC campaign to Ulster in Belfast. No Welsh team has beaten Ulster away since the Scarlets back in 2016, and unfortunately Ulster's winning home streak against the Welsh regions continues as they saw off a spirited Dragons team 42-21. Dragons win Dreamland after just 12 seconds when Ulster made a mess of the kick-off and Aaron Wainwright went over to silence the crowd. The quickest try scored in league history by all accounts. But as always with the Dragons, it's the hope that kills you. And despite a battling performance, the familiar failings come back to haunt the Dragons. We had poor discipline, passive defence. We gifted Ulster some soft tries, and the Dragons were left ruining opportunities to come away with a bonus point or two. 3 tries scored and 2 disallowed. One of them, I think, on reflection, should have stood. But we'll talk about that in a minute. Gavin, let's start with you then. What did you make of that Dragons performance on Friday night?
So let's see. Let's do checks and balances. Good things. Set piece.
Yeah.
Really impressed with Rob Hunt, friend of the pod and friend of Adele. Really impressed with him, his work, and win as well. I thought a good set of props there. I thought going forward, Angus O'Brien looked dangerous. There was a bit more invention in the attack. There was a bit more physicality. I don't often say this. I thought Matthew Screech got around the park really well and made a nuisance of himself, and I was impressed with him. So they're all good things. Or Tinas de Beer as well, who I've not been a massive advocate of, but I take it back. I love him. He's scrappy as hell. He loves a ruck. He loves a tackle. He is absolutely just. I'd hate to play him against him. He's horrible.
Oh, he's won me over as well.
That hit he put in on the Ulster 10. It was like, oh, it was a thing of beauty. So lots of positives, negatives. Ulster played the ball really quickly, but we weren't competing enough at the ruck. So instead of preventing them playing the game they wanted to do, we actually allowed them to do it. Then that leads to the next problem. I think defence around the ruck was fine. Defence out wide, we were all at sea.
Yeah,
we lacked
very much so.
We lacked pace. We lacked lots of things there. So that caused us some issues. I think other than the starting props, we perhaps don't have the strength there, but that's so. Yeah, there were positives, but there's still work to be done.
Yeah, fair enough. Gareth, your thoughts on that performance? What did you make of it?
Yeah, a mixed bag, I think, like Gav, really. Couple of good parts. Obviously, we get that fast start, bit of luck, but then, Ross's try, really liked that try. It felt like players were hitting the gain line at pace, getting over the gain line. We decided to go down the short side because we spotted space. They're rushing up because we've got numbers there, so it's identified that really well. Angus puts in a great kick and we score. And suddenly you think, we've silenced the crowd and we're 14-7 up here. You think, well, we're going to get something out of this game, is what I was thinking. I wasn't, thinking we're going to get away with a win, but you're thinking, there's a lot of time on the clock. We could get 4 tries. But then it was just same old Dragons with a lot of stuff. It was, Gav mentioned the defence out wide. Ulster clearly wanted to move the ball and we couldn't cope with it. And as soon as they started to get a bit of joy, they were doing the same thing. But I think the one that killed me was that soft try before, just after half time, where we didn't have the pillar and they went up the blind side. I mean, if that happens in Division 3, you're getting an absolute bollocking from your coach.
If that happens, I played the lowest level of rugby in England, but even my under-12s, if you're not guarding the rucks, I said, what the hell are you doing?
It's one of the first things you're taught as a kid, like your pillars, and it's a very soft try to give away, and you think we worked really hard for our tries. Ulster didn't have to work that hard there. We actually looked quite good in that defensive set again. We were coming up in the line quite hard. I think our actual tackles were strong. Tinas, like you mentioned, tenacious Tinas, like what a boy, like really like him. He was everywhere. Rob Hunt, friend of the pod. I think on like Shane Lewis's try, he hits him over the line and he just gives him that extra yard, clearing the player out. And I think that could be the difference between that getting held up or it just being a clear try. And you think it's a good bit of work rate from our starting props. But yeah, it's just a little bit frustrating. But was away in Ulster first up really the game to judge the season on? No. I think there's definite positives to take away. A little bit more shape in attack, especially with Tinas pulling the strings and a solid set piece to start the game, is definitely better than where we were last season. So, yeah, a few positives. I guess my question would be, did we stay in the fight? Because that's something the coaches have talked about, staying in the fight. And I've wrestled with the answer myself, because at one point when we had tries disallowed, we're suddenly in bonus point territory, not just for tries, but also a losing bonus point. We are in that fight and anything could happen. The game then did just get away. But yeah, what do you think? Were we in the fight? Did we stick in the fight?
I think that the try that was disallowed, because we had been in control for about 5 minutes at that point, and I think we lost the fight a little bit. The wind went out of our sails a little bit when that happened.
Yeah. Hugh Anderson, I thought, added a bit when he came on as well. Like
Yeah.
one turnover. He's a player who's he has moments, doesn't he? And I think we need players to have big moments. I think he's got that. So where does he fit in our team? I think is a tricky one, because Angus does give us balance. But yeah, and obviously losing D early on and then Rosser, not ideal.
No, and Joe Westwood as well.
Yeah, I think the centres were a little bit exposed as well, which was a bit of a shame. I think with pace maybe, but also play an expansive game, or they've started the season looking to play an expansive game. So yeah, it was a tough place to go.
Yeah, I think the real test of where we are now is, can we stay in the fight? And I think we lost it, but I think that try being chalked off, like I said, did probably pull our heads down a little bit. That's something we need to lose. It's our winning habits. It's something that Buttress talked about when we spoke to him the second time. It's about getting those winning habits, I think.
Yeah. So Fia Tia said after the game, there was a lot of good stuff we can build on, some positive moments around our attack, but we just got to keep improving and holding on to the ball. We were probably our own worst enemy in parts of the game. I mean, that's almost every game, isn't it? Where we're our
Yeah,
own
that is
worst
just the
enemy.
Dragons.
Yeah, I think Philo's learning, isn't he?
You can just cut and paste that comment most weeks.
Yeah, Philo's going to learn pretty quickly, I think. We were probably our own worst enemy in parts of the game with our lack of discipline, and we gifted a couple of opportunities. We couldn't really launch off set piece, so there are a few things to tidy up before we meet the Sharks at home. So here's the thing. This game was an example of two things being true at the same time. Yes, there were positives, 100%. I thought we were competitive for large parts of the game. I thought our physicality had increased from last season. We did stay in the fight. Our attack did look a little bit better. Our set piece was good for the first 60 minutes, I would say. After that, it did falter towards the end of the game. But also, we saw the same old failings, didn't we? Whenever Dragons are put under pressure, and how many times have we seen this? We crumble. We start giving away what I call dull penalties. And then what we do is we double down on that. And then we gift the opposition easy ends. They get opportunities and they score. And that's a trait that the Dragons have had for many years. And I don't think you can just eradicate that in the space of a season. I think it's going to take time to get rid of these behaviors and bad habits. There is a saying, old habits die hard. And I definitely think that's true in the case of the Dragons. So, yeah, two things can be true. There were positives to take from this game. Absolutely. It's not all doom and gloom. That was probably our most competitive performance in Ulster for a little while, I would say, because normally it's been a complete blowout. But at the end of the day, we did concede 42 points and we conceded 6 tries. And there were still some old habits there that let us down.
There's some interesting bits for me, like the competition at the breakdown. Will that look different with Thomas Young available? Are we going to slow the ball down more, which I think is necessary? And the centres, I think Joe Westwood had a difficult time, and are we going to be able to bring something else into the centres to give us a bit more solidity there defensively?
Yeah, fair points. So these are my notes. These are my positive and negatives from that game. So we mentioned them already. Tina Stabia, he was my Dragons player of the match. I thought he was excellent. Kicking game was really good. He worked hard at the breakdown. He loves getting stuck in, doesn't he? That huge hit on Mike Lowry. Have you seen it? I did share it on the social. Somebody did clip it up, but I shared it. Terrific. I think he's going to be a very popular player with the supporters on the terraces teams to be. I think they're going to warm to him very, very quickly. Very impressed. Shane Lewis-Hughes was industrious, as always. I think he's criminally underrated.
Yeah, so do I.
And I think he's the best signing we've made in a long time. He just goes about his work. He does all the dirty work. He goes about his business quietly and efficiently. And I was really impressed at the hard work and shift from Shane. 200 up for Matthew Screech. I thought he put in a solid shift. As you said, Gavin, he got around the park. I thought he carried well, was good in the line out. So, yeah, good shift there from Screechy. Levi Douglas and Big Mac made an impact off the bench, didn't they? They put in some big hits. Douglas in particular, and that's what he's been brought in to do, I guess. And we didn't completely fall apart, did we? Yes, we did wilter under the pressure, but that's what the Dragons do. But I've seen us completely fall apart and concede 50, 60 points. And that didn't happen. I did think that we stayed in the fight longer than what we normally do. So, like I said, yeah, they're definite positives to take from that game. In terms of the negatives, Elliot D going off after just 17 minutes with his arm in a makeshift sling. Didn't look good. He could be out for a little while. We do have some good depth for hooker, but that was a big problem. Then you had
Still a
Jared.
big loss, isn't it?
It is. Jared Rosser left the field after 24 minutes. I don't know what for. I didn't see him go off. I don't know what the issue was, but yeah, not great. Two key players. Finney and EC replaced him. I'm going to need more convincing, I think. I wasn't overly impressed with what I saw. I know it's only one game and it'll take a while to bed in, but he looked a little bit slow to me. He was caught out in defence a few times, so I think I'm going to need a little bit more convincing on Finney and EC. Passive defence, poor discipline really hurt us. It was a very difficult night in particular for the centres. And Ivan Owen, we're huge fans of an Ivan Owen on this pod, and he did work hard, but he did have some difficult moments. Unfortunately, it does have to be said, Joe Westwood had an absolutely wretched night in defence. And look, we know he's a player with a lot of potential, but he's also a player that, defence is an issue for him. It is the weakest area of his game. And if you're playing at outside centre, you're going to be exposed if your defence isn't up to it. So hopefully Joe will learn from that and he'll come back stronger. But it was a very, very difficult night for the centres, and particularly Joe Westwood. There was no hiding place, was there?
No. And defensively, it's the hardest position on the field, 13.
It is. Yeah.
Because it's just wide open space.
Yeah, absolutely. And I know it's only week one, but I am concerned about the defence. The Dragons' tackle success rate was just 77%. That's too low. And look, I talked about it on the pod we did when we spoke about the Scarlets game. Our defence was poor against the Scarlets in pre-season, and I did say that all their tries were soft. And that was the case here out in Ulster. Yeah, they took their tries well, and some of their attack moves were pretty sharp, but they were soft tries being conceded. You got a defence coach, Dale McLeod, telling the media Dragons can make the playoffs this season, and it's like, well, I'd like to marry Sabrina Carpenter, but that's not going to happen either, is it? It's like, never mind reaching the playoffs. If we defend like we did on Friday night, we won't even reach 15th, let alone top 8. So they say defence is the easiest thing to fix, don't they, in rugby? And I am concerned about it because I think it needs fixing. It needed fixing from pre-season.
Oh, yeah.
And it needs fixing now because there were one-up tackles being missed and we looked very vulnerable out wide, didn't we? Defensively. Where every time
we looked isolated, didn't we?
Yeah.
But it wasn't from line breaks where we then looked isolated. We looked isolated after one or two sort of quite static phases.
Yeah, after two phases, the wide defence was, at one point, Anisi and Westwood were looking at each other as a Ulster player just ran through a gap. And you might not know whose responsibility it is, boys, but it is someone's responsibility.
Yeah, I thought we were very vulnerable defensively when Ulster attacked through the wider channels, and that was a concern. And yeah, like I said, there were some big hits going on. We saw one from De Beer, Levi Douglas, and Big Mac putting some big individual hits when they came on. That's great. Like I said, I thought we stood up to Ulster physically, but our line speed was slow, and missing one-up tackles out in Ulster, you're going to get punished.
Yeah,
it's simple as that.
You create space, don't you? And I think that combined with the fact we weren't slowing the ball enough down, that is partially why the wide defence was so at sea. But still,
Yeah.
you can still look structured.
Yeah, so it's fair to say Dave McCloud's got some work to do
Mhm.
up in Australia this week. So I guess then the big question from this weekend is, were there enough positives from that performance to take into the Sharks on Friday night? Gareth?
Yes. I guess I went into the game hoping for a lot of positives because you've always got that hope, but I think it isn't a season-defining game, and having a better set piece, showing a bit more in attack, and yeah, the defense definitely needs fixing up. But I think I think the scrum is honestly going to make a massive difference to us this season in keeping field position and being able to win penalties and it's a big momentum shift. So I think that gives me a lot of hope. And I think as well, let's get home, Rodney Parade, big atmosphere on a Friday night. I think we can do the Sharks. I think there's enough. I've seen enough to think we can turn them over, which is probably a little bit optimistic, but
It's the hope that kills
yeah.
you. Gavin, what do you think? Were there enough positives from that game, do you think, to take into the Sharks?
Well, yes, I suppose. But there were also enough negatives to give me the collie wobbles, and I think that's where it is. So yeah, like the beer scrum penalty. When we got that scrum penalty early on, I text you scrum penalty in all block capitals. I think yeah they are, but then defensively, Sharks will have quick boys out wide. Are we going to be able to defend that? The mobility of the centres concerns me, and the ability to slow the ball down at the ruck. So there's still things. Can we win at home? Yes. Are we going to? I'm not sure.
Hmm. There are reasons for optimism, though. We should remember this was only round one, and we still have the likes of Thomas Young, Seb Davis, and Fetuli Payet to come into the squad. We have to bear that in mind.
Solomone Fanaki.
Who? Never heard of him, mate. So yeah, there are positives, but like I said, there are also familiar failings, and two things can be true at the same time.
Yeah,
So,
it was.
yeah.
There were times where I've looked forward to the season being back so much, and then watching it, I was just thinking, "Oh no, I remember what it's like now." It can be quite tough in some moments to just watch us make silly mistakes and give away a penalty, and then compound that with another penalty. Yeah, there are times when you think, "Come on, we need to learn these lessons quicker now." But yeah, it makes it a huge game on Friday. We really do need to win.
But that's the problem, isn't it? It's the second game of the season, and we're saying this must win.
Yeah, yeah.
It is, though. I think it is.
Oh
And
no, I
I'll
totally
explain why
agree.
later.
Yeah, I totally agree. But
Yeah. Watching a game on Premier Sports, Ian Madigan said, and I quote, "The scoreline slightly flatters Ulster." I actually agree with that.
so do I.
They were the better team, no
Yeah.
denying that, but I do think that scoreline doesn't quite reflect our efforts.
Yeah.
No, I would agree.
Yeah.
And if you think, so you've watched us sometimes lose away by 40 plus points, and you think, they've butchered 3 or 4 more tries normally, and it could have been 60, 70. But yeah, I do think I agree with you guys there. It did flatter them a little bit.
Yeah, that was Ian Madigan's comments on Premier Sports, and they had Stephen Ferris, who I cannot stand. Good play, but I just can't stand him as a pundit. He was relatively complimentary about this, and they had John Fox Davis. Why they couldn't get a Dragons guy on for this game, I don't know. But they both said the same thing, that it was good that we didn't roll over. They were positives, but they both did say they make too many mistakes, the Dragons, and they do. And will we ever learn not to make so many mistakes? And that's where I go back around the familiar failings.
No, I would totally agree. And as much as the attack looked better, it still doesn't look very potent.
No. Having said that, though, I thought the attack looked better than it did for a long time.
Yeah, I think having the guys who could get over the game line made a big difference. I think the pack looks a lot better. And yeah, problems out wide, but I think up front, that's where the game starts. And I think we've shown improvement there.
Yeah, no, I would totally agree.
But we should have come away with a bonus point, maybe even 2, because we had 2 tries disallowed. The first one, Wyn Jones, he didn't quite get over the line. there is a bit of controversy with the forward pass from Hugh Anderson. At the time I watched it live, I thought, yeah, that's just marginal. I watched it back this morning. Now I'm not so sure. I mean, the referee, Griffin Colby, he was very close to it, wasn't he? And straight away, he had no hesitation saying forward. But I've watched it back a couple of times now, and I think we were unlucky. I think we were very unlucky. I think another ref on another day might have given that.
It was one of those decisions for me that literally could have, it was toss a coin and see what happened.
Yeah.
Because I can see why he called it forward, but I think it would have also been reasonable to say it wasn't forward. It was one of those ones. It was like, oh, I don't know. I don't know. There, I, I don't. And I've seen people saying that he had a poor game. I don't think he had a particularly poor game. He did miss stuff, but I think he made errors both sides.
Yeah, I don't like criticizing refs unless they've had a really, really bad game. We got away with a couple of decisions as well, mind. I will add. There was that one in the first half where Jared Ross got isolated. That could have been a penalty to Ulster for holding on, and it went our way. And even you text me, Gavin, saying, I think we got lucky there. What was that for? And I still don't know. Because like I said, Jared was holding on, he was isolated, but that went our way. Also, Levi Douglas, he was putting big hits. There was one, he took an Ulster player off the ball, and they kept showing it on the replay, and I'm thinking this is going to go to TMO yet. Thankfully, it didn't. So we did get away with a couple of decisions ourselves. But yeah, that forward pass is still being talked about. But like I said, the more I look at it now, I think another ref on another day, I think it would have been given. It was just one of those things. It was very, very marginal.
And if you're saying,
sorry, Gav. Go on, Gareth. No, go on.
I was just gonna say, if we're talking about did we show any improvement or enough improvement, we were a really close decision away from definitely taking a point away, and at that point would have put us within 7, I believe. Which, I'm not saying it would have stayed that way, but potentially going home with 2 points. When was the last time we went away anywhere, let alone Ulster, thinking we're going to come away with 1 or 2 points? Like we haven't. So I think that does show that we have improved. Okay, we didn't get there, but it gives me hope that, there'll be other games this season where we will.
I honestly can't remember when Dragons came away with 2 bonus points, like on the road. I know they did against Scarlets at Parker Scarlets, but that was years ago. It must have been about 9-10 years ago.
Yeah,
but,
I remember.
it's
I thought that
decision
decision was very. Well, I thought it was a try. I was cheering and very excited, and then massively gutted when I was like, "What's happened there?"
See, this is where the conspiracy theorist with me comes out, right? Because I think if Ulster had scored that, would have been given.
Yeah.
See, I think it would have. I got no evidence to prove that, but part of me wonders if another team had scored that, would it be given? But we'll never know, will we? Right, let's go over to the listeners' comments then, because I asked on the social media channels the same question: were there enough positives to come out of that game and going into the Sharks? So Gavin Potts says on Facebook, new signings went well, switched off in defence out wide and at the end for their tries. 2 golden opportunities to get the bonus points squandered. Felt we stuck in it pretty well. We've got more depth in the pack, which kept us in the game for longer. But he says, poor defence at 13, 11 and 14 ship tries. I like the way he's used numbers and not names. That's very diplomatic, isn't it? You just saying the number, don't know actually saying the players' names. Mark Seymour says, we lacked Jackal presence at the breakdown. Yeah, I agree with that. And the midfield looked porous, but a beefier pack, line-out and half-backs look improved. Steve Shasner says, we have defence and discipline issues for sure, but he's still feeling positive. Harry Crabtree says, Douglas and Martin made some huge hits and De Beer was excellent. Some positive shoots for sure. He says, Paya coming back at 13 should shore us up a lot in defence. He says, Westwood is a revolving door and needs a good run of games in Super Rugby Cymru. I don't think that'll happen, but that's not a bad shout, actually. I think Joe could do with some regular game time in Super Rugby Cymru, but I don't see that happening. But yeah, it was a tough night for him, wasn't it? Carl Taylor says to be a showed fight. Front row in the first half looked good. Ulster, to their credit, were threatening and accurate, but I'm worried about our defence and the centres. Accuracy in the last 15 really let us down. Could easily have come away with a bonus point. Always going to be a tough ask. The last time a Welsh region winning out there was 2016. Ben Stralin says, it seemed like more the same to me as I thought last season. We lost games we should have won, and we weren't as bad as our position on the league table suggests. Ulster centres and wings cut through our defence, which quite frankly wasn't good enough. Nothing that can't be rectified. How do they solve the real problem is the biggest question I'm taking away from the match. So I saw a lot of comments about Rio's performance. He was getting a lot of stick. Was that fair or not? Because I don't think he really, again, it's the same issue I see with Rio is. It's not that he's poor, he just doesn't get enough of the ball.
It's tough, and the same in defence. I thought Rio looked poor, but why were we so isolated at 13 and on the wings after a couple of phases? Why were they given so much to do? Like, is it that they're poor defenders, or are they given 5 players to mark between them? But yeah, we don't get him the ball enough. It was his kick chase that got us the try to start the game. He's got that great work rate from the kick-off and off the ball, but we need to get him in the game more. Yes, we looked a bit better in attack, but yeah, why are we not getting the ball in the quickest player probably on the pitch? Why is he not getting the ball? It's a bit criminal, really. And when you watch him live, you can see it a bit more that he does work and he does come in to get the ball, but it just doesn't seem to find him. And I find that really frustrating. And we've said, he needs a big season. Well, give him the ball.
That's the thing. This is why I always say a lot of people are on his back at the minute. I think, well, are we serving him the best way we can? Are we giving him the good service? Are we putting him in the right areas? I'm not so sure we are. But yeah, anyway, Mark Jones says, same old story. Dragons start well, but then go to pieces. Daniel Green says, more positives, but still major issues in defence and precision in the backs. Need to step it up in both areas. Over on X, Steph says she's far more positive than negative. Nick Foyle says, we didn't disintegrate in the second half, and there was some fight. Could easily have been 1, if not 2 bonus points bar a forward pass. However, reality is we came away pointless and conceded 6 tries. Ulster were good, though, he says. Lee says, squandered good try scoring opportunities. Defence was poor and we didn't cope very well under pressure. Mark gets in touch from the Black Feather Pod. He says, a really competitive performance in many aspects. Should have left with at least a try bonus point. And finally, Paul Shepard says, disappointing to lose to a good Ulster team, but I'm not too down. Still think there's a huge amount to come. So the consensus from supporters is mainly positives. Yeah, so we're positive. We're frustrated at the same, errors, but we're all still feeling pretty positive. So yeah, that's how the supporters, and that's how you guys are feeling as well. You're still feeling positive, aren't you, after round 1? Gav, you still feel positive?
Me, well, sorry, go on, Gareth.
No, go on, Gav. Sorry, mate.
Well, I was just going to say, I think, if I was wringing my hands and, kind of, oh, my word, after one game, it'd be foolish, wouldn't it? In the same way that I didn't come away from the first game last season, the Ospreys, saying, well, that's it, we're going to win the URC. You've got to be realistic one game in.
Yeah, absolutely. So taking the positives, we are this week, but yeah, old habits do die hard, so we need to shape up our discipline, our defence, and just general mindset, because we've got a huge test. It's a big month coming up, and we're going to get into that a little bit later. But for now, it's time for our Gwent Rugby Roundup. Gav, there were some shocking results this weekend, particularly in Super Rugby Cymru. Do you want to go through it with us?
Well, yeah, absolutely. Let me take you to the Cineglass Community Stadium at Eugene Cross
Park. I knew you'd start there first. I knew you'd start there first.
In the jewel of Gwent, Ebervale, where Ebervale beat Cardiff 60 points to 20 to maintain the unbeaten start to the SRC. Sadly, the other Gwent sides weren't as successful. Carmarthen Quins beating Pontypool 24 points to 12, and SRC champions Newport losing 40 points to 42 at home to Swansea.
Bad result, that is. That's a really bad result for Ty Morris's men. He did say in the week, I read an interview he did with Dragon Sports, he said it's not panic stations yet, but played 3, lost 3. I don't know. By and large, their title defence is going terribly so far, isn't it? So, yeah, not a good start for Newport at all.
So, kind of a cup weekend in the other levels and some league games as well. So, and because I didn't realise this when I was taking down the notes, my notes are quite confused, but I do have all our results. So Let's start in the Premier Cup, where only 2 games can involve on our side. Cross Keys lost 28-22 away to Cardiff Met, and Newbridge were pipped by a point, 25-24 away to Ystrad Rhondda. Championship Cup, Ableri Blaenau Gwent 27, Halloween 21, Penaltha 27, NSD 22, and St Joseph's 50, St Peter's 26. Into the Division 1 Cup, more of our teams involved there. Abergavenny 16, St Albans 25, Blackwood 27, Llanharan 15, Blaenavon 5, Dowlais 41, a local derby, Blaenau 27, Brynmawr 21, Llynishon 7, Caerphilly 43. Caerphilly started strongly in the League Cup. And Nelson 22, Newport High School All Boys 12. A single league game in Division 2 East, Pontypool 43, Pill Harriers 33. And in the Division 2 Cup, Newport Saracens 50, Abercarn 3. Into Division 3 Cup, Killeen 38, Fleur-de-Lis 0. Very good, strong to the start of the season for Killeen. They've scored over 30 points in all the games so far. Risca 18, New Panteg 22. RTB Ebervale 27, Garndiffe 32. There was a single game in Division 4 East where Whitehead lost 7 points to 10 at home to Derry. In the Division 4 Cup, Abertwsog 6, Trahara 17, Llanillas 20, Crickhowell 23, and that local derby, Oakdale 29, Bedwellty 3. Into Division 5 East, single game there, Fordside 7, Trinant 32. And Division 5 Cup, Bargoed Athletic won their cup tie, a walkover against Cardiff Saracens, that's sad to see. Blackwood Stars 31, Old Penarthians 21. Bridgend Athletic seconds 32, Penaltha Athletic 12, Girlin 5, Brynifel 20. And sad, Bulford, who I actually spent yesterday evening in Bulford Rugby Club, but Bulford it was a walkover victory for Hartridge in their cup tie. Hirwine 5, Friends of the Pod, Nutradiga 55, and Llanrumney 43, Mago 20. And then into the Dragons Athletic League, Bedwas Athletic beat Cwmbran Athletic 30 points to 20. The Garndiffe Gorillas, great name, lost 20 points, 31 at home to Blackwood Griffins, and Pill Development 14, Monmouth Druids 56. I must say, Garndiffe, I know that you aren't one of our sides, but I like the name of your second team. There's a local team close to us, Helinley, and Helinley Village. It was a large mental hospital, so they call their second 15 the Loonies, which is massively politically correct. But,
Oh dear. How have they got away with that in this day and age?
I think it's quite a historic name,
Right.
But yeah, and Rye, where my side play out of, their second team is called the Goons because Mike Milligan was their founding chairman.
Right, okay, yeah. I'm still shocked over that Ebervale result though. 60 points on Cardiff, 60-20. Wow. That is one hell of a result, fair play. And it's always nice to see Cardiff get Tonkin. So
Well,
I enjoyed that.
Ebervale and Llandovery have started in a different gear to everyone else in the SRC.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of teams have improved. I think Swansea have improved. That's
Yeah,
the reports I'm getting from Swansea supporters. Pontypool are actually bottom of Super Rugby Academy table, but Newport, big concern. 3 played, 3 losses. Not a good start their title defense there. Okay, moving on then. Just a reminder, if you haven't done so already, please subscribe to the podcast and spread the word. We are available on Apple, Spotify, YouTube, and all the usual platforms. If you leave us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts, you will get a shout out on the pod. And we've had one review coming from Meg, and she says, "Great pod, always enjoy listening. Up the Dragons." Lovely stuff. Thank you, Meg. We really appreciate that. You can follow us on the socials. We're on Facebook. We're on Excrement, formerly known as Twitter, and we're on Blue Sky, which is a bit dead at the moment. Blue Sky seems to have died a death a little bit lately, but we are on there. If anyone's interested, or if anyone has a Blue Sky account, then please feel free to follow us. Okay, so let's look ahead to Friday night then. Sharks at home. Massive game, isn't it? Friday night lights at Ronnie Parade. No better place to be this weekend. Two teams coming off the back of disappointing defeats. Sharks lost 35-19 to Glasgow up in Scottstown, so they're going to be keen to get back to winning ways. Right, Gav, let's start with you then. What are your thoughts and expectations heading into this one? Because this is a pretty big game, and we mentioned earlier about must win. It's ridiculous to say because this is only round 2 of the URC, and yet it feels like a must win for the Dragons, doesn't it?
Oh, yeah, it's a big game. Buzzing for it, to be honest. Like Friday night, like you said, at the Dragons. There's nothing better than Friday night at Rodney Parade for me. First home game of the season. I'm hoping we get a good crowd. I'm confident. I think we're going to get that win, and I think it'll do us the world of good as well. Because yes, we've got a lot of new players, but it's it's still the Dragons. We've still got a lot of monkeys we need to get off our back, and let's go and do that Friday. Let's beat a South African team. Let's get a win and start to build a bit of momentum, because I think it could calm us down a little bit as well. I think it'll do us the world of good. I really think we've got the players in that squad to do it. It'll be interesting to see what happens with a couple of the injuries. Obviously, I imagine Brodie comes in for D, but who's going to get bumped up onto the bench? And what we do out wide, is Paye available to come in at 13, or is he going to be maybe eased in off the bench? But yeah, I think we've got enough quality. I'm looking forward to watching Tenacious Tinas live. I think, I wasn't overly thrilled with him signing, but yeah, massively warm to him. And I think what you said earlier about him being a crowd favourite is spot on. So yeah, just let's put in a good performance and just get over the line, get the win. And I think if we start strong, the crowd will back the boys, and could be a really good night. Yeah.
I'm really looking forward to it. It feels like we don't have many Friday night fixtures anymore at the Dragons. We've had a lot of Saturday games, a lot of Sunday games as well. So I think this is going to be a good atmosphere. A lot of supporters do like the Friday nights at Rodney Parade. I make Sharks favourites for this one, though.
Yeah.
Yes, they've got players away with the Springboks, and they have got a long injury list, but they've still got a lot of quality players in that squad. So they still got the likes of Lucano Am, Francois Venter, Jaden Henriksen, Rue Andrea, Dion Slabbert, Marvin Ori, Edward van der Mure. Anyone who thinks the Dragons are favourites for this one, I'm going to push back on it because they're not. I still make Sharks strong favourites. There is a lot of quality still in that Sharks team. And we do have to remember, as things stand, Dragons are the worst team in the league. We are on an 18-game losing streak in the URC. We haven't won a league game for over a year.
Yeah,
right?
We aren't ever going to be the favourites for a game until we start getting some games behind us, because, we won one league game last year. And
exactly.
We won, 2 or 3 the previous year. We've got to be realistic.
Absolutely. And also bear in mind, we've never beaten a South African side in the URC. So this would be a big upset, actually, if the Dragons managed to pull this off. It would be pretty big. It really would. Gavin, what are your thoughts heading into this one? And what are you expecting, and what are you hoping to see?
Well, it's winnable. So I've said all that, but it's winnable, isn't it? But I think we need to pick the right side, and I know that sounds ludicrous, but we do. We do need to pick the right side, and we have to start strong and stay strong, because they'll want to beat us up front.
Yeah.
We've got to sort the centres out. We've got to work out what we're doing there, and we've got to get our wide defence sorted, and the discipline has to be improved. If we can do those things, it is a winnable tie. Like you say, they lost a pile of their players to the box. They've got a big injury list. It's a long way to come. And I don't want to curse you guys, but it'd be nice if we could get some, kind of proper Welsh Friday night weather for the tie as well. So it's winnable, but I don't think we can go into it thinking it's likely.
Gav, let's come to you then. What changes would you make for this tie? Because obviously we are going to have to make a change of hooker now. Elliot is, I think he's going to be out for a little while. It didn't look good at all. So the question is, in terms of hookers, we expect Brodie to start. I think that's the right thing to do. But then who backs him up? Do you go for the experience of James Benjamin, friend of the pod Jumbo, or do you push someone like Ollie Burrows onto the bench? Because I really like Ollie Burrows. I think there's a lot to come from him. Or do you go for Sam Scarf? But again, these are young hookers. How do you see that going, and what other changes would you make to the team?
Yeah, I think, it's right. Brodie will step in to start, but I'd probably go Jumbo for the experience.
Yeah.
I think it is a big game. If we had a few more wins under our belt, maybe later in the season, we could start to push one of the younger two through.
I think I'd go Ollie just because he's bigger.
He's a big boy, Ollie.
Yeah.
Yeah, he is a big boy.
And I like Jumbo as a player and a bloke, but I think Ollie Burrows just brings a bit more size.
Yeah, for those who were at the Q&A with the players, he's got great attitude as well. I think it's a tough call. I don't think there's a lot between the hookers. I think I would go Jumbo for the experience. Second row, obviously go Carter, and I'd keep Levi on the bench for that impact. Screechy went well, but if Seb Davis is fit, he's a bit bigger. Maybe you go for Seb. I did notice Wainwright did shift in the back row, didn't he, to accommodate Big Mac towards the end of the game.
Yeah.
Whether you would start with that or maybe keep it as it is and have Mac on the bench, but he is a lot of size to get in that team. And I do think I'd probably make a change at 13 if we can. And, Joe is still young and learning, so if we can bring in Paye to do what he's been brought in to do and be an experienced 13, then great. But I think, the main thing is we're playing a big South African team who are going to want to beat us up at front. We've got the props now who can stand up to that in Wyn Jones and Rob. So that gives me that confidence. We can field an international pack. I think we've got the quality up front. And I think with Tinas now at 10, I've definitely changed my tune on him. He can get us over the line, I think. We just need to tighten it up out wide. Like, we can't give away soft tries. I mean, we conceded a bonus point try to Ulster before half time, which absolutely infuriates me because the team should be really working hard to get a bonus point. And
but that's the same old. That's the same old Dragon Sea traits. This is why I'm talking about the old habits dying hard. If you're giving up bonus point tries in the first half, that's it. You're not going to come back from that, are you? Let's be honest. You sort of lost before the game is done.
I think if we concede 4 or more tries to the Sharks on Friday, I think we've lost.
Yeah.
So we have to be tighter defensively. We cannot concede that many points and expect to win the game. So that's really big. I imagine it's going to be a big focus this week. But yeah, apart from, I think, most of the team does pick itself. I probably would keep the same back row, keep Mac on the bench, keep the same half backs, make a change at 13. And I guess Ross is going to be out. And then Anisi or Hugh Anderson.
I'd bring Hugh Anderson in personally.
Yeah, I would. Hugh Anderson's just absolute
he's electric.
Quality, isn't he?
He'll create something out of nothing. I haven't seen enough of Anisi yet.
So, that's it. He's been brought in. Does he need his chance as well? And it's tough because Hugh Anderson does offer so much. And it's like O'Brien at 15 offers us balance and a kicking game, but he's not electrically quick and he's not powerful. But he has got the kicking game, which maybe we do lack in the back three with Rio and Rosser. That we do lack players who can kick the ball.
I don't think Ross is a bad kicker of the ball. I think he's all right, but without him, I don't think Rio's kicking game is as strong.
No, that's not his strength. That's not his game, Rio. That's kicking is not.
Yeah, I think I would go Anderson though. Yeah, I'd agree with you, Gav. I'd go Anderson on the wing. He's got that bit of stardust, doesn't he? And then Nisi then hopefully covers a few positions, doesn't he? So
I just think if you're playing a South African team, you need to beef up the pack. So I wonder, will they bring Ollie Burrows on the bench because he is quite big for his size?
Yeah.
Dare I say his name? Does Mr. Funaki make an appearance? Do you have him on the bench? He's a big guy, mind. He is a big guy.
I don't think, I do think there's an argument for, if he's fit, an argument for Funaki. There's also there's an argument you start Levi Douglas, but I think he's better off the bench, like we've said. But
Yeah.
there's an argument he started. But then I don't think Screech has done anything to deserve to not start.
It would be harsh on Screech.
Yeah, I agree. I totally agree.
But
And,
then you have got guys like Steve Cummins as well.
yeah,
Let's not forget Steve Cummins. He's a very good line-out operator. He doesn't offer you the grunt and ball carrying around the park, but he's very good.
We've got options there. When everyone's fit, we do have options there. But I think I probably agree with you. I would try to prevent them getting a head of steam on early in the game.
Yeah, absolutely. I think we can safely say, or is it too early? But when I look at the props, Wyn Jones for me starts. A tight head, I would say Rob Hunt is our best scrummaging tight end, so he has to start. So then you're left with Dylan Lewis and Chris Coleman. Now, I don't know if Chris is 100% fit or not. I've seen some people saying he's not fit, or whether he just wasn't considered for selection, tactically or whatever. But there was a drop-off when Martinez and Dylan Lewis came off the bench, mind, in our scrum. There was a noticeable drop-off. So I just wondered, do you bring Rhodri Jones in for this one? Or do you stick with Martinez? I don't know. It's actually good to have some selection headaches, isn't it? Because that's not normally. We haven't got the luxury of having these headaches.
We didn't talk about this that much last season, did we?
No,
because the team was picking itself. It was more scrambling who's available. I'd keep Dylan on the bench because I think he's got that. He is a threat at the breakdown, and without Thomas Young, we do seem to lack that, like you guys mentioned against Ulster. And do you change the loose head? I'm not sure if there's a massive difference scrummaging wise with Martinez or Rhodri, to be honest. Rhodri probably a little bit better around the park. But again, good competition to have, I guess. But Wyn Jones absolutely nailed on.
The Dragons have been very coy about the fitness of Thomas Young and Seb Davis. And look, I don't expect the full medical report because it's not our business, but I would like to have some idea of when they're going to be back.
Yeah.
I think fans deserve that, at least just to say, look, he's out for a couple of weeks, he'll be back, so-and-so, but we haven't had that yet. So it's a little bit frustrating because we don't know if Seb's going to be fit. We don't know if Thomas Young's going to be fit. And I'd like to know. Do you know what I mean? I would like to know. Look, October is a massive month for the Dragons, right? And this is why this game is a must-win. So I think this is, for me, similar to last season, right? Last year. October's either going to make or break our season.
Mm-hmm.
So we host the Sharks on Friday, 3rd of October. That's a must-win game. We've already said that. Then on Saturday, the 11th of October, we go away to Glasgow, which, okay, that's a free hit, right? We're not worried about that one because we're not expected to win. This is where now the must-wins games come in. So you've got the Derby doubleheaders of Ronnie Parade. You've got Cardiff on the 17th of October. We know we have a stinking record against them, but it's a winnable game. And then we got the Ospreys. So we have a very good record against the Ronnie Parade. That's on the 25th of October. Now, I can see a world where Dragons win those home games, but I can also see a world where Dragons lose those home games.
Mm-hmm.
It's perfectly possible Dragons could head into November without a win. And I think if that happens, then the rest of the season will nosedive from there. Mm-hmm. Because that's exactly what happened last year. We had all those home games in the block. We didn't win them apart from Ospreys, the first game, and that dented our confidence for the rest of the season. If we had beaten the Sharks and Lions, two things. First of all, Dai Flanger would still be in a job. Second of all, I think we'd have gone on to have a much better season. I don't think we would have finished last. But I think losing those home games in the manner that we did not only cost somebody their job, although there were other things in the background, but it really did dent our confidence for the rest of the season. So it's so important that we win. I think we need to win 2 out of these 3 home games at least. I think it might be a bit ask, for the Dragons to win 3 of them. Like I said, this is a team that hasn't won for like 18 URC games in a row. We know how difficult Dragons find winning games, but if they got any sort of chance of progressing up the table, if we're going to be relevant at all this season, if we're going to make people stand up and notice us, we have got to win 2 out of these 3 games. It's huge, isn't it?
Mhm.
Do you agree with me? This could make or break the season, October, even though it's very early on in the season, or do you think I'm being a little bit melodramatic by it? A bit over the top.
No, I don't think you're being melodramatic. We have to win more home games. We have got winnable home games. It makes sense to me that we need to win them. It's,
But isn't it crazy? We're talking about these must-win games, and it's only second week in the URC. But that's where
but
we are now, isn't it? That's
yeah,
exactly where this team is.
yeah, absolutely. And if we have to want to win games, haven't we? And I think we've spent far too long just going, well, we lose these games, we lose these games. Yeah, if there's improvement, let's see it now. Let's see it now. So we can go into Christmas going, yeah, we're going to come 13th, 14th, but there's an improvement. Otherwise, we're going into Christmas going, yeah, same old stuff.
Yeah. And we're going to record pod every week, taking the positives. The problem is, guys, positives don't get you points.
No.
Wins get you points. So we can take the positives out of every single game, but if we're not winning, it's no good to us. We're going to be rock bottom again. So, Gareth, what are your expectations for that month of October? How many home wins do you think we need for this to be a success? I'm saying 2. Are you on the same lines as me?
Yeah, I agree with 2, because if we get 2, it means we definitely get one of those monkeys off our back of beating either a South African team or finally beating Cardiff. Hopefully both. It's huge for the players as well. Like, you need total buy-in and belief in what you're doing, and if you don't pick up wins, you're going to start to question what you're doing and the systems you're playing, and then as soon as you start going down that road, it does all sort of fall apart and unravel, and it's just back to what we've always been like. So, if we get a win, then you go, oh, what we're doing is right. You get more confidence in it, and it can snowball that way. And it's so important. Please win on Friday. Just it can make a big difference. I do think we've got so much talent in that squad, especially with the experience we've brought in, that if we can get a bit of confidence, we can go and win games. So yeah, it's massive. It does start Friday. I mean, we say it's a must win. If we don't win, nothing happens, but it does feel very, very important. Like it's a huge momentum gainer for the season. So yeah, I'm absolutely praying that we can get it over the line. Honestly, I feel desperate for the team and for the fans. Like we need it. But I think with the solid scrum, with Tinas and the quality plays we've already had at the club, I think we can get it done. And then we fly into Cardiff, rotate at Glasgow, pick whoever.
Yeah.
I don't care. I'm actually going to it because I got a mate up there, but I don't care what the
You
score
are going
is.
to the Glasgow
I
game?
am, yeah.
That could be very painful for you.
Yeah, I'm not probably going up with loads of optimism, but it's a Saturday to Friday turnaround then to Cardiff. Pick a second team. I don't care. Rotate. Let's win those home games because they are really important. So yeah, it is a big month, which is not ideal because I don't want the season to be over before Christmas. But we could be sat here in a couple of weeks feeling pretty confident and pretty happy about things. So let's see.
I'm sorry, I'm smiling because the pure desperation in your voice then.
I am
You
desperate.
sound such a desperate man.
Genuine,
Please win, please.
I just can't, we just can't keep doing the same thing, building up
done
hope.
for years. We've
Yeah,
done
and
it
it's
for years.
just in the
But
end.
we can't keep saying the same things, can we?
Yeah.
It's
Well, we did last season.
yeah,
Every
but
podcast.
but I think it's important. I don't think it's our role to be overtly critical, but it's our
No.
role to be realistic about the situation. But I think if and this will be our 3rd year of doing it, if we're saying exactly the same things for the 3rd Christmas in a row, then then I think there is a time to go, actually, this isn't good enough now, is it? Why is this the case? What is going to change to make it better?
And let's not forget the backdrop of what's happening in Welsh rugby at the minute.
Absolutely.
We have got to start competing and winning games, not just taking the positives, start winning games. They should be playing like it's their last game. They've got to put everything into every game because We're playing for our livelihoods. That's what I'd be telling the players if I was a coach. Boys, you're playing for your livelihoods here. They can't keep losing every week. Something has got to change. But like, if we go into November and we won just one game or none, then that's when I start to go, well, what's the point then?
Because
That's
there's no
the feeling
point.
I have. What is the point of it? What's the point of the Dragons then?
There's no point at that point even being a development team because young players need to win games. And it makes it impossible to defend us. Oh, you've lost again. Oh, but we own our own ground. People are like, what are you on about, mate? Don't care. Like, do you know what I mean? No one watched the Premiership today as an Arsenal fan and thought, oh, that was good. But, do we own our ground? No one cares. It's about the result.
And this is a key thing, isn't it? Yeah, the best game of rugby I ever played, there was a school game. There was a terrible game of rugby. We only scored one try, but we won against a team we weren't expecting to.
Everything.
And no one thought, oh, it was a terrible try, but we won, and people want to win. And I would take 4 jammy last-minute wins over, oh, well, this looked better or this looked better for an entire season.
I don't care how we play. I'm not interested in playing sexy, attractive rugby. I just want to win. I don't care if it was 3-0, if it was ugly, turgid. I wouldn't care if we don't look totally convincing as long as we win because we are in the results business. And like I said, in the backdrop of Welsh rugby, we have everything going on. The fact of the matter is Dragons have to start winning. As simple as that.
Well, we won't look convincing even if we do win, but it's, fake it till you make it. Let's just get it over the line, isn't it? I can't envisage us ever looking convincing getting these wins. They're tough games, but yeah, just to quote some other coach, find a way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I know I've said it a few times now, but I always think about what David Buttress told us on that pod. What right do we have to exist if we win just 2-3 games a season? Mm-hmm. And let's not forget that came from the co-owner. What right do we have to exist if we only win 2 or 3 games a season? And he's spot on.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely is. You're desperate, man, Gav. I'm desperate. So it's my birthday this weekend. I'm going to the Dragons game on Friday. I'm going to see Newport County on Saturday.
Oh, dear me.
Yeah. It's not looking good. Swindon a second. We're hovering above the relegation zone. We're equal on points, actually. It could be a really good weekend for me. It could also be a thoroughly miserable one. I would love to wake up on Saturday morning on my birthday knowing we've won a game. So no pressure, Dragons, but you could potentially ruin my birthday if you don't win. And you don't want that, do you? You don't want that on your conscience, knowing you've ruined someone's birthday. So you better shape up. You better learn how to defend. You better shape up, guys, because you could ruin my birthday and it will be all your fault if you don't win. No pressure, though.
Come on, Philo. Jamie puts a lot of effort into this pod, being a voice for the club, and all he wants is a win against South African teams. So
I just want to win. Listen to Gareth. He's a man on the edge tonight. Did you hear the desperation in his voice?
That's a man who's still a little bit hungover as well.
I just think now 2 things can exist at once, but ultimately sports teams have to win games occasionally. And
occasionally, it does help. Yeah,
it's just so much comes from winning, like confidence to the players, which means we can go on and win another game. It makes it easier for me to say someone, do you want to come watch the Dragons next week? Oh, is it any good? Yeah, it is actually. We won last time. Like, do you know what I mean? Otherwise, it's like, oh, do they ever win? Oh, well, not really. Well, why are we going? I don't know.
Why are we going? Because it's nice to drink beer in a cold, rusty terrace.
Yeah,
which I will be joining you to do for the Connacht game. So hopefully we'll be winning more games by then.
I'm really looking forward to it. You are coming down child free now, Gavin.
I am coming down child free. Yes,
get to spend time with my Gavin. Excellent. I can't wait.
My son is outraged that I'm going to watch rugby without him.
Good. I get you all to myself. I'm happy.
We are going to watch Wales England together. So it's I don't know if that's a good thing.
Yeah. Okay, fair enough. Right, let's wrap this up. Come on, let's put our necks on the block. Predictions. Gavin, Dragons
Shark,
win, yes or no?
Sharks by 3.
Oh, come off it.
Oh, I honestly thought you were going to tip the Dragons to win then after
and,
all that.
and the promise to over-deliver.
Gareth,
Dragons by 8.
by 8.
By 8.
Okay. Do I trust the Dragons to sort out their defensive issues?
I don't think you do, Jamie.
Do I trust the Dragons with their discipline? Do I trust them full stop? The answer is no, I don't. And yet I'm going to predict Dragons to win
Come on.
because I think we need some positivity. You are right, we do need some positivity, but we also need some wins. And I think we need to win this game. I know we need to win a game, but I think this is such a big game. If we don't win this one, then I'm going to start to feel same old Dragons.
You are right. You're absolutely right.
And it's Friday night at Rodney Parade. Supporters love Friday night games. They constantly moan, I can't go on the Saturday because I watch my club. Well, you haven't got that excuse now. Get down Rodney Parade, show our support. We need to make it uncomfortable for the Sharks, don't we? We need to make it a hostile place, make it uncomfortable for them.
Like it used to be.
Do you know what, Jim?
Yeah.
That is spot on. And like Saturdays and Sunday games, great for the families, but Friday night games, it's awesome on the terrace. And people say like, oh, I like going to Rodney Parade because it's hostile and all that. Well, remember, if you're in the crowd, you are one of the people who can be hostile. Just give them some pelters, cheer on the Dragons, abuse the Sharks, all within, rugby values, obviously. Rugby values.
Hashtag rugby values.
Don't just wait for somebody else to give them some stick. Get into them. Let's make it hostile, and then it's up to the players to deliver. But we'll do our bit.
Are we talking Ryder Cup levels of hostility, though, Gareth? Or,
That
was quite something, wasn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, probably a couple of levels up from that, actually, Jamie. Gav in Newport. Yeah, we get a lot worse.
Yeah, absolutely. So I don't want to sound cringy about this, but get down to Rodney Parade and show your support because the reality is we don't know how long we got left. We don't.
No.
And I think now's the time to come out, show your support. I know it's a hell of a slog watching the Dragons, but we need everyone now to get behind the team because I do think Rodney Parade, it's not going to sell out, unfortunately, but a hostile, busy Rodney Parade with a crowd behind them. There is no better place on a Friday night. There isn't.
And it makes a difference.
Wonderful night. It does make a huge difference. The players feed off it.
Ex-players talk and they say, "Oh, yeah, it is hard going to Rodney. The crowd are on your back. They're abusing you." Dylan Lewis, I think, is quite happy now to have us on his side.
Yeah, he did say that, didn't he, about the abuse he got? But that's how we should be. Like, obviously not. We don't want to cross the line, but we should make players feel uncomfortable. That's what used to happen. It happened in Newport in the olden days for a regional, and it used to happen in the early Dragons days as well.
I think he was asked what songs do they sing at Rodney Parade, and he said Eeyore, Eeyore. It's let's make that noise. Let's make it tough for oppositions. If it gives us a 1% advantage, well, the game's probably going to be pretty close. So let's get that 1%.
And the Sharks, it'll be different for them, won't it? Because they used to playing in these, in front of 12 people in massive stadiums. To be fair, the Sharks crowds tend to be bigger. But when you go to the other South African side,
the Lions in particular, yeah.
Oh yeah, 19 people in the stadium that could hold 50,000.
Yeah.
But that pressure will make a difference, and if it's cold and it's wet, even better.
Have we checked the weather forecast?
Hang on, let me have a.
Yeah, it's raining.
Are you just assuming that because it's October in Wales?
Well, I'm on the Met Office app, and it says it's dry here.
Friday, according to the BBC, there is light rain and a moderate breeze.
That's okay.
That's fine. A 50% chance of rain at 7 o'clock and a 55% chance at 8.
Yeah, that's okay. Yeah, I'm really looking
On that
forward to
note,
it.
Is there any weather that favours us? We lose in all conditions. Like, it doesn't really matter, does it?
But I think Sharks being where they are, they have less of that weather. There's some South African
that's
clubs,
true, yeah.
rain's not an issue for because they get it all the time. But the Sharks, they're on that coast. It's warmer. It's a bit more subtropical there than there is other bits of South Africa.
But no
I'll
one
get
should like
doing the
coming
rain
to Ronnie
dance.
Parade.
No.
No one should like, on a cold Friday night, that these players want it. And we're going to find out. But nobody should want to come to Ronnie Parade. We should make it uncomfortable and hostile for them as much as possible.
It's
like
the
it used to be.
wet Wednesday night in Stoke argument, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. Hopefully it'll be a good crowd down there and a good atmosphere. Yeah, come on the Dragons, please. Just give us a victory pod. You haven't done that for a while. And we're not including pre-season. No, we're not, because it's not a competitive game. So you don't get the hook, Dragons. You need to give us a proper win in the URC. Please. Me
I've
and Gav
never
are on the
had one.
edge.
Never had a victory pod.
Well, this is where I've started to think, and I've said this before, I think you're the jinx. I think you're the problem, yeah? Because since you come on board, we haven't won a fucking
Mate,
game.
if I'm I'd happily step aside if you give us wins. Anything.
If he wasn't available 1 week, though, and we did win,
I'd
we
Well,
will
didn't
have
that
to have...
happen with the Newcastle game? He wasn't available for the Newcastle
Oh, he
game.
did?
We won.
It'd be awkward. It's getting a bit awkward now,
That's
isn't it?
true. You wasn't on the pod when we beat Newcastle.
Right,
Okay.
if we don't beat the Sharks, I'm not going to come on the one after the Cardiff game because then we might win. And if we do beat Cardiff, I'll probably be dead because I'll be funneling so much beer into myself celebrating.
I completely forgot you wasn't on for the Newcastle win. I think we're going to have a talk, Gareth, off the pod about your future on this podcast.
Do I not deserve a victory pod? I've got a Dragon's tattoo, for fuck's sake.
Have you really? Have you actually got one? Sorry, did you just say you have?
Yeah.
Why?
Well, it's the fleur de lis, so it's only a little. It's not like the Dragon's badge, but I got a little fleur de lis.
You have to get that removed if we get cut, mind.
Yeah, I know. Do you know what I thought? I thought, for fuck's sake. And I'm glad I waited until we changed badge as well, because I thought that would have been fucking good as well.
Are we talking an Optimum 2 presenter model, Jamie, when we have the conversation? The consultation, listeners, runs till 15th of November.
I will be sending out a survey of leading questions, which I want the peer review to fill in. So that's how we're going to do it.
My brother might go on a march to keep me, so...
Yeah, do you want to explain before we go
no.
why your brother was on a Scarlet's march? A Dragon supporter.
In the Dragon shirt.
In a Dragon shirt. Why was he there? What was he doing?
He's a Judas. Absolute Judas. No, I think he's showing unity across Wales that we want to keep 4 regions and standing against the WIU. So he's trying to show a united front. So he did stand out, being the only Dragons there, and he's not the most inconspicuous fellow, to be fair to him. Those who know him probably hear him on the terrace quite regularly. But yeah, good intentions, but I don't think I could spend all afternoon in a crowd of Scarlets fans do my head in.
Absolutely not. And fair play to him. Fair play to him
Yeah,
for doing that, because I very much doubt we'd have Scarlets fans down here if we did a match. I wouldn't see that happening. So fair play to him.
Yeah.
Good on you. Well done, Loaf.
Good lad.
Right. That's a wrap, gents. It's been a busy one. Thank you, as always. Thank you to our friends at the Riverside Sports Bar for their continued support of the podcast. I'll see you Friday night, Gav, hopefully, for a drink in the Riverside.
Yeah, lovely stuff.
Why not? Until next time, thanks for listening, and we'll catch you on the next one. Up a Dragons.
Bye all.
That was The Dragon's Lair, in association with the Riverside Sports Bar in Newport, an American-style bar with a proper Welsh feel. Join us again next week for more of the same.
This podcast is part of the Sports Social Podcast Network.
Weight loss solutions are not one size fits all. Hers makes it simpler to get started and stick with a weight loss plan, backed by expert-guided online care that puts your weight loss goals first. These include oral medication kits or compounded GLP-1 injections. Through Hers, pricing for oral medication kits start at just $69 a month for a 10-month plan when paid in full upfront. No hidden fees, no membership fees. You shouldn't have to go out of your way to feel like yourself. Hers brings expert care straight to you with 100% online access to personalized treatment plans that put your goals first. Reach your weight loss goals with help through Hers. Get started at forhers.com/4u to access affordable, doctor-trusted weight loss plans. That's forhers.com/4u, forhers.com/4u. Paid for by Hims and Hers Health. Weight loss by Hers is not available everywhere. Compounded products are not FDA approved or verified for safety, effectiveness, or quality. Prescription required. Restrictions at forhers.com apply.